I'll admit it, I'll admit it. You haven't been the man for like a minute. And I told you that I'm in it for the long haul. They say take the good with the bad. I'll take it without. You know what I'm saying, dudes? MXGP 2019 review, baby. Oh, by the way, there's no yellow Suzukis in the game. I swear to God, dog, it's too good. So, first off, right off the bat, you guys know you always have to come to Spency Boy to get these real opinions on these motocross games because everybody else is in these little Fruity Loop, fun land, like, you know, nothing's wrong with any of these games, kind of fairy tale land, positivity land. Nobody's telling you the real opinions. I mean, maybe there's one or two people kind of giving you somewhat of the real opinion out there, but you know how it is. They're not really telling you what you want to hear. I mean, yeah, they are telling, actually, that is right. They are telling you what you want to hear, but that they're not telling you what you need to hear. You know what I'm saying? They're not telling you what's really going on. They're sugarcoating stuff. They're trying to build their subscriber base. They don't want to offend anybody. They don't want to upset anybody. I mean, shit, I've been doing this for 3 or 4 years now. You guys know what it is. I mean, even if you don't even like me, even if you hate me, you know you can count on my opinion being more real than any of these other motherfuckers out here even thought about being. That's just a fact. Like, you can't even really say that it's not, because I'll say anything. There ain't no telling. Ain't no telling. I'll say anything about anything. I'm not holding a single thing back, so I want to make that 100% clear to you. I'm not being paid off. I'm not, you know, holding anything back to gain a subscriber. None of that. Absolutely none of it. Giving you the 1,000% raw opinion on it. And that's what everybody really wants to hear. So, without further ado, do not buy this piece of shit game right here. Don't do it. Do not waste your money on this game this year. It is what we all thought it was going to be. Way more of the same than it ever thought about being different. You understand what I'm saying? It's way, way, way more the same. The easiest way to explain it to you is basically like, whenever you talk about the filling on the bike and the physics and the whip filling and all that, it's basically like you combine Supercross 2 with MXGP Pro. That's pretty much exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, it's really not like it's that much better. It just feels like 10% different. You know what I'm saying? 10 or 15% different. But I can't even really say that it's all that much better. But I don't even know where to start, dude. I mean, let's just start with the whole filling of the bike, right? All that kind of stuff. Okay, so now, I will give it to them. It does seem to have a 10% little bit looser of a filling on the bike. Like the actual rider animations on the bike seem to look a little bit more natural. You know, they're a little bit more, you don't feel as like restricted when you're just riding on the bike in general on the ground. You got a little bit more movement in that sense. And obviously I have all of the, handicap bullshit turned off right away, right? So I don't have any of that on. I've got it all full blown. And it's funny how I say that, because even when you turn off all the handicap stuff, it still feels like you have handicap stuff turned on. That's how the Milestone games have always felt to me. Like they still feel like they're, like you have handicap crap turned on when you really don't. You know what I mean? So it's kind of weird, but okay, so let me just say this. This is a $30 game, okay? Not a $60 game. Not even close. It ain't even close to being a full-blown price game. The graphics are maybe 10% improved from the previous Milestone games, but the graphics were already pretty good back then. So, you know, you'll notice a little bit of a visual improvement in that sense, but not super drastic, not like insane. And yeah, I just want to go over all the little intricacies and the details and stuff like that. And a lot of the reviews you're going to see out there is going to be like, these are all of the customization options. Look at this. This is really cool. And I really like this about that, and let's go through the campaign. Meanwhile, they never even mention the fucking terrain deformation or the filling on the bike or any of the things that actually matter, right? You gotta love those standard-ass, like, IGN fucking reviews of games and stuff where they really don't dive deep on anything, you know? They don't dive deep on the actual gameplay. My goal here, and me trying to separate my reviews from everybody else's reviews, I'm trying to give you the filling on the bike, what the hell that actually feels feels like, what the hell the gameplay feels like, compared to all the other motocross games, compared to all the other MXGP games, compared to the MX vs. ATV games, compared to a simulator, how does the game actually feel? How does the terrain deformation feel compared to other games? How does that compare to other games and all of that sort of thing? So let me just say this right off the bat. As far as like what they've done different on the tracks, I mean, you can see it on this track right here. They kind of going down this vibe where they make the inside of the corners like kind of more that little bit more muddy vibe, and then the outside's more dry. You notice it a lot on this track right here specifically. So it's basically, in a roundabout way, they pretty much have their like mud mode on the inside of the line and their dry mode on the outside of the line, even though you're just, riding on the track in the middle of the day. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of give it a little bit of variation like that on this track specifically, almost like, when they go out there and water a track in practice or something like that, and then like, the insides are muddy, but the outsides aren't and shit like that. They kind of try to play on that card a little bit, but let me go ahead and go to another track right here, kind of explain some more stuff on this. So as far as all of the negative things that we've known of as far as the track designs with the Milestone motocross games, like no real roughness, no real hardcore inside ruts and different lines in that sense, small jumps in general, all that shit is still exactly the same as it's always been in the Milestone games. So don't expect anything different in that sort of category. Don't expect the jump fun factor, like bigger jumps. I even think they went smaller on the jumps, like just in a general overall sense. Like they went smaller with the scaling of the jumps in this game, and they needed to go bigger. You know what I'm saying? The Milestone games jumps have always felt too small to me, and they just feel even smaller in this game. Like, what are you doing, Milestone? Your jumps are the most boring fucking things, I swear to God, I've ever hit in any motocross game ever before. They're so boring. You're like barely getting off the ground. Every jump is like a little 20-foot, little 30-foot, little like no one gives a shit kind of jumps. You know what I'm saying? It's like they just mellowed out every single jump, even from their like MXGP Pro days and shit. Like, what is going on, Milestone? Still none of the roughness, really. That super smooth flat tracking vibe thing that you know from Milestone. Same old same on that. Not really any difference there. And as far as the terrain deformation, so let me kind of talk about this. So I can see where a lot of people are going to get confused on this, and a lot of people are going to like see one lap of gameplay and be like, oh, those ruts look pretty good. Like, oh, dude, he actually grabbed into that, that inside terrain deformed rut and shit. So let me explain the terrain deformation system to you, for some of you people who don't understand. So basically what happens is you get on there on lap 1, the track's perfectly smooth. And then on lap 2, the entire track is rutted up. And then that's pretty much all it ever is. It's not really like a progression building ruts over time. It's, I just went on lap 1 right there. You see how the track was. Now this is lap 2. It's like fully deformed and like a rut in every place that somebody went, but then that's all it ever really is. It's not like you're building a rut in one spot and then it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. It doesn't do any of that. Like this right here is as deep as the ruts are ever going to get. You could run 300 laps on this track and this is as deep as the ruts are ever going to get on lap 2. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's not a progression terrain deformation system. It's a smooth and then ruts everywhere on lap 2, and then it pretty much stays that way. Now, I will say, yeah, they do grab you maybe like 10 to 15% more than they ever have in any other Milestone game. They grab you a little bit more like these ruts do, but it's not to say that they're really grabbing you at the end of the day either, though. They're still very, very soft, very, very, more like a sand rut, you know what I'm saying? Even when you're on a standard brownie mix dirt track like this, the ruts still feel more like a sand rut. They're still more like that blow them completely out, but yes, you can kind of fill the ruts a little bit more than you could before, but still, I find it to be kind of hilarious how it's like literally perfectly smooth on lap 1, and then literally on lap 2, it's like ruts everywhere. This is lap 2 of this. Look at this. Ruts everywhere, and then that's pretty much all it does. It's not like digging that certain rut deeper or anything like that. It just, you understand what I'm saying, though? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, if I run out here in the smooth, then yeah, it's going to make another rut right there, but it's not really digging the ruts any deeper. You understand what I'm saying? See, it just made more ruts where everybody went, right? That's all it really, once it makes that rut in that one spot, that's just what it is. It's not going to make it deeper. It's not going to build it up more. It's just going to have more ruts where more people go on the track, and that's all there is to it. It doesn't dig a rut deeper. You understand what I'm saying? You know, on reflex where you keep going in that same line, that rut becomes like a fucking berm over time. You know, that's the key, over time. This right here just feels like lap 1, 0, lap 2, 100 real quick, and then that's it. There's no more progression to it. So, I mean, yeah, they have definitely changed the terrain deformation system, but at the end of the day, it's not, I mean, without having those, like, pre-made inside ruts, it still pretty much feels the same. At the end of the day, it's really not all that much different because, like I said, they really don't grab you that hardcore anyways. So at the end of the day, it's not that different. So let me just real quick talk about the whole like rider customization and just the overall UI of the game and that whole sort of vibe. Let me kind of go to the main menu, kind of show this a little bit just to explain. So this literally to me feels like a knockoff MXGP Pro as far as the UI and it's like a cheesy version of MXGP Pro. It's so weird, like Milestone. You're just going further and further down this rabbit hole of you're trying to reinvent and redo, but it's the same old same. Like, it's the same old same. Let me see. Rider. Yeah, so let me just show you the actual face options. Hey, have you ever seen any of these face options before, boys? Oh, yeah, in the past literally like 5 Milestone games, the same exact face options. Good one, dog. Literally, like the same exact face options, the same hair options, literally the same font options that you would put on your name and number. This is literally the same exact font options for the name and number on your jersey from literally MXGP 3 or like Supercross 1, you know what I'm saying? Literally, they've kept the same things over and over and over. Everything's just been rehashed over and over and over and brought to the next game and brought to the next game. And it's just like, it's so what is this vibe of like completely basic, everything's just like a white background screen? You know what I mean? At least with the Supercross games and like MXGP Pro, they had like the cooler backgrounds. In the first Supercross game, you had that actual like Monster Energy like showcase where you had your bike sitting and all that shit. This is so boring. Like, it's just white. It's the most blank white. I feel like I could have literally made this UI. I swear to God, in Microsoft Paint. That's how simplistic and basic this looks. This is not a $60 title, people. You got to understand. This is nowhere near a $60 title, not even close. Oh, Milestone. Oh, Milestone. But let me go in here. Okay, let's go to the playground real quick. Let me just continue to try to talk a little bit more about this. But it's not worth it. I'm just telling you, save your money this year, boys. Get dirt, dude. Hey, dude. Hey. Oh, you finally using dude there, Milestone? I thought that was kind of bizarre. You know, I'm known as like, what's up, my dudes? Like, you know, all this shit, right? Worldwide fucking saying now, right? And the way I say it, right? And all this dude shit in motocross. And then it's like, Milestone puts in, get dirt, dude. It's like, what, dog? Okay, either way, let's get to this whole compound, I guess you call it. So as far as the content of the game, same old same as you've always ever had. Same old same. There's one little baby Supercross track that's not even really a Supercross track. And you've got all of your standard motocross tracks, right? And then you got the standard MXGP motocross tracks of 2019. Of course, they're 2019 now, the current year versus like having the year before. Whoop-de-doo, nobody really gives a shit. I mean, it's cool. It should be that way anyways, you know. It should be that current year anyways. I don't know why they really try to make it like a feature and like literally the title of the game, like it's some big deal that this is MXGP 2019, the current year. Like, come on now, Milestone. Like, come on now, really? You got to do better than that. Like, really? Okay, so you guys saw this compound, you know, that in the middle huge, like, big ass rock jump, one side jump to the other side. Like, it's going to be massive. It's going to be a huge jump. It's going to be epic. We're going to be throwing sick ass whips over. It's going to be so cool. What the fuck? What the fuck was that? I swear to God, that was the most disappointing jump I had ever hit in my entire life. What milestone? What the hell are you doing? That was supposed to be like an epic, like, I was thinking like at least 200-foot jump over rocks, like sick-ass whip jump. It's literally like a 30-foot little baby jump. I swear to God, I cannot believe this. Actually, I can believe this. Actually, this is what I've been saying this whole goddamn time. Like this little motocross track on the compound, so boring. I mean, yeah, there's some elevation, but like, it's just, the track is just flat everywhere. You're just flat tracking everywhere. Jumps are lackluster. This is way more lackluster of a track than the compound track, even on MXGP Pro, I feel like. I mean, yeah, they got some like insane elevation going on here, but that's it. There's nothing else to it. The jumps aren't even fun. They're not big. There's no roughness. There's no inside ruts. Dogs. Let me just take you over here to this completely pitiful supercross track. I just don't even see how they do this. Like, I really don't. I just don't see how. How do you do this, Milestone? Man, this is the product. This is what I've been saying this whole time. This is the product of rehashed, not enough resources, making 5 games a year when they should only be making 1 game every 2 years. This is what you get. This is literally a step backwards, I feel like. I mean, yeah, the feeling on the bike is the one thing that's like 10 or 15% kind of sort of improved, or maybe a little bit different. It's like you mixed, it's like you mixed, I said, Supercross 2 with MXGP Pro, so it kind of has this feeling of like MXGP Pro, but not as janky, and kind of like the whip system of Supercross 2 after they updated it and kind of advanced it a little bit more. But like, this is the only Supercross track in this entire game right here. The entire fucking game. Okay? And even at that, it's not even really like a Supercross track. It's more of a fucking like hybrid-y style, small jump, lackluster, boring-ass Supercross track. Milestone, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Like, really? You couldn't have given us anything more than one little baby hybrid wannabe Supercross track? They had more Supercross content in fucking MXGP 2 in the little stadium series. I swear to God. How does that make any sense at all? It doesn't. Not even Suzuki's in this game at all, bro. No Suzuki's. I guess they thought, like, oh, well, it's last on the shootout. Might as well just leave it out. Fuck that, dog. Oh, my God. Literally no Suzuki's. Like, what? I mean, I understand they're kind of slacking in real life, but, like, they literally replaced Suzuki's with TM Factory bikes in this game. You cannot ride a Suzuki in this game. Oh, dudes. This ain't worth it. This ain't worth it. So let me just kind of recap a little bit. The couple little positives, because there are some positives of it. You know what I'm saying? There really are. It's just there's so many not just negatives, but just like the same that we've had for the past 4 years. The same old just no real improvement, just same thing. Like that, your brain gets to that point where you're just tired of all that shit. It's just like, come on, Milestone. You've got to do something more than this. Like, what is this? So yeah, the whips have, and this is not saying much for Milestone, but, talking about Milestone when it comes to the whips, when you say this is better whips than, pretty much any of the other Milestone games, that's not saying much, so I have to make that clear, right? That's really not saying much. But the whips seem to have at least a little bit of variation to them now. You know how they kind of started going down that road a little bit after they updated it in Supercross 2, after I made a video on that to tell them to do that? Everybody thought I was completely wrong, but then they updated it? Yeah. That time, you know what I'm saying? Where they went in there and made those whips a little bit more varied versus having that where you throw a whip and it just slings her out to the side, like perfectly out to the side every single time you go off a jump face. At least now there's a little bit of like variation to the movement. It doesn't just sling it out to the side anymore. It's kind of that progression of like how they went from the first Supercross game to MXGP Pro, and then going to Supercross 2, kind of how the whip system started changing through all that. Well, it's like you just advance that change another 10 or 15% basically. So, yeah, the whips do feel better, but at the end of the day, it's like there's hardly even any jumps to even whip on in this game, especially when you talk about the actual normal tracks of the game. Let me go back to that because I just have to keep reiterating that literally 95% of the jumps on the MXGP actual tracks that you're mainly going to be racing on this game, literally there's no jump bigger than 30 or 40 foot. Like, what the hell? You can't even hardly whip on it because the jumps aren't even big enough. It's like, damn, dog. And it's not even so much like disappointment for me anymore when it comes to Milestone. It's more of just like exhaustion and tired of the same, you know, just like they have got to start fixing. I swear to God, Milestone, if you don't start fixing this shit, this is going to be the camel that fucking the shit that breaks the back, dog. It's going to be over. Like, I'm just telling you right now. Not enough hardcore inside ruts, not enough big jump fun factor, not enough different kind of track content like supercross tracks and, you know, dedicated enduro tracks and stuff like that. Other just random motocross tracks that aren't the actual MXGP tracks. You know, all this other shit that's in every other motocross game that you Milestone dudes just completely neglect because, oh, it's an official game, right? All your little fanboys like to try to defend you on that. And it's so stupid. Why would you defend less content in a motocross game? That makes no sense. Why would you ever do that in 1,000 years? And then they go put it in Supercross 1. They put a motocross and a freeride compound in Supercross 1 as paid DLC, so it obviously can have it. It's not like it can have it or it shouldn't have it in the game. Then MXGP Pro has a Supercross track on that and a compound on that, so it's not like it can have it. It just has very, very little of it. You know what I'm saying? Like if they have a Supercross game, then it has very, very little motocross content in it. Or if they come out with a motocross game, then it has very, very little Supercross content in it. Literally one little baby Supercross track, the most boring Supercross track I've ever rode on in my entire life. The Supercross track on MXGP Pro was literally twice as fun as the Supercross track in this game. What the hell? Like, there's aspects of MXGP Pro that are literally twice as good as this game. And I swear to God, I didn't even think that was possible. I thought MXGP Pro was the lowest of the lowest of the low. And it was in a lot of ways, like the whip system and the filling on the bike and the pop-off system of MXGP Pro. It was the worst of the worst in a lot of ways like that. And it doesn't feel that bad in this game on the physics side of it. It's obviously way better on the physics side. But when it comes to the content, the track design, all of that sort of the compound vibe, all that sort of stuff, I feel like MXGP Pro was better than this game. So it's like, you see what I'm saying? So I feel like this game, when you compare it to MXGP Pro, better in some ways and worse in others. You know what I mean? Like, that's really the vibe I'm getting from this, boys. It's just not good. I mean, like, what? I'm just so tired. I'm so tired of it. So tired of it. But they still got to come out with that game every year. They're going to see a massive decline in the purchases, and it's going to make them rethink their shit. And now the fact that THQ Nordic owns Milestone, shit's going to turn around. It has to at this point. You know what I mean? It has to. So there's definitely things to look forward to and high hopes in the future we going to see, you know what I'm saying? But as far as right now, this is kind of like a, I don't know, maybe like a, kind of like a 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or like a 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It's like, I feel like it's improved in some areas, but then way worse in other areas, so we didn't really get anywhere. You understand what I'm saying? I feel like we didn't really get anywhere. It's like the track designs are still just so boring. The jump fun factor is still so boring. The roughness, skill gap, so boring. There's none of it. And then the terrain deformation, yeah, there's more of it. And yeah, it's like a maybe 10% more ability to grab you, but it's a lackluster terrain deformation system at the end of the day. It's the most simple terrain deformation system you can put in a motocross game. Like one of those where it's like no ruts on lap 1, then ruts everywhere on lap 2, and then they don't really change any more than that. That's like the most simpleton fuck terrain deformation system you could have in a motocross game. But it's just like way more the same than different, you know? And it's just, this is pretty much like they just took MXGP Pro, made the whips a little bit better, made the pop-off system not as bad, and and just made like different tracks. Basically, that's all there is to it. That's pretty much what it is. It's like a slightly better physics system MXGP Pro with worse jump fun factor and a worse compound. That's pretty much what this is. Now, obviously, they have the outdoor track editor. I'm not going to get too much into that in this video because we all know what the fuck that's all about. It's a very, very simple outdoor track editor. Very simple, like not a whole lot of different customization pieces from the Supercross track editor. It's literally like a copy and paste Supercross game track editor into a motocross game. Still tons of flat tracking. You can't really make inside ruts on the track editor. You can't really make a lot of roughness on the track editor. All the shit, you know, that you would want to put in a custom outdoor motocross track in a game, right? All that shit you can't really do, right? You're basically just making tracks that you could already make in the editor of the first Supercross game, right? But just with motocross environments. That's pretty much what it is. So, yeah, there's a track editor in here. Yeah, you can make a waypoint. You know, you can make waypoints on the compound. But it's just like, I mean, I just don't see that adding that much more to the game because those individual elements are so lackluster. Specifically individually, you know, in itself, they're so lackluster that it's not going to add that much more to the game anyways. I just cannot believe how basic these jumps are. Like, what the fuck is that? Literally a tabletop jump, like a 90-foot tabletop jump, and the jump face is so rolled off that I never even came off the ground. What the fuck? Dude, literally a 20-foot tabletop in a 85cc beginner backyards track. That's what these jumps are. I swear to God, you feel like you're never even getting in the air. I can't explain how boring and basic and simple that makes a motocross game feel when you feel like you're not even jumping anywhere. It's just so boring, and you feel like, they're missing so many elements of what makes a motocross game so fun. The jump fun factor, the inside, actually getting into a hardcore rut on the inside, the roughness fun factor, like, whoa, I gotta calm down on my throttle into this corner because the braking bumps are too hardcore and I might get out of whack. You know what I'm saying? There's none of that shit. None of it. Like, three of the biggest aspects to a motocross game literally doesn't even exist in MXGP 2019. So I'm just saying, boys, save your money this year. Do not buy this shit. It ain't worth it. They're going to entice you with the track editor and entice you with its MXGP 2019. It's all the 2019 shit. And you'll probably see like one lap of somebody with the ruts on the track, and people that review this game are probably going to be like, look at all the ruts. There's so many more ruts. Oh my God. When in reality, it's still just the most basic fucking rut system you could ever have in a motocross game. They don't really grab you that much more. They do slightly, but not that much more. And they don't really progress and change. You're not going to get one rut getting super, super deep over time. That shit ain't happening. It ain't happening. Hell, they make 2 or 3 games a year. You know what I'm saying? You can't even expect. It's like, I don't even expect any more out of the games than this. That's why I say all this before they ever come out. That's literally why I say that and predict all this before they ever come out. And of course, at this point, now everybody's starting to catch on. Now the broad scale community is starting to catch on to this milestone, repetitive, same old same every year, charging you $60 for the same old same. Now people are starting to catch on. See, it wasn't like that back in the day when the first Supercross game came out. I was saying all this shit back then. It wasn't like that. Everybody was on this big hype train, and then it was MXGP Pro. Everybody got back on another big hype train. I was like telling you dudes this whole time, it ain't going to be what you think it's going to be. What are these jumps? I swear to God. I'm just waiting to hit a jump that's like bigger than 50 foot, and I haven't yet. Literally. Where is all the jumps, Milestone? Where are they at? This is the most boring of track designs I have ever seen. I literally feel like I'm going back to the days of like MXGP and 2 and shit. You know how boring those track designs were? That's what I feel like. Like, it's so boring. You're never even getting off of the ground. It's like, what the fuck? This is not a good look, Milestone. Oh, God. This is your final chance right here. I swear to God. In a roundabout way, it may not seem like that, but this is your final chance. Of course, it still has a little bit of the slide-out mechanic of what like MXGP Pro had and shit, but oh, yeah, I thought I was going to get some skill gap in them rollers. Hell no. Hell no. It's just slightly, and I'm not trying to say they haven't improved the physics, because they did, but it's not, these sort of improvements should have been done back in the first Supercross game or MXGP Pro. It's like, why the hell are we just now to the point to where the whips have at least a little bit of variation? Not much at all, but at least they have the little bit of variation. And you've got more movement, but you don't just instantly pop off or instantly slide out. Why are we just now to this point? This is shit you should have had 3 games ago, 2 games ago. You understand what I'm saying? It's like they go through that whole weird-ass beta testing phase of the first Supercross game, MXGP Pro, Supercross 2, and finally, yeah, it does feel better. Maybe like 15% better as far as on the bike, but at the end of the day, the tracks are so goddamn boring, and we should have had these improvements so long ago that I can't even really give them that much credit for it. You understand what I'm saying, though, boys? Like, I can't even really give them that much credit because it just, they're not worthy. They're not worthy for shit we should have had so long ago and that we've paid so much money for. See how those ruts look super, super gnarly? I swear when you're actually riding on it, it doesn't feel that gnarly at all. It really does. You feel like you could push those ruts out like they're nothing. But even though they look deep as absolute shit and there's like a ton of them, it minutely affects the bike. I'm talking minutely. Like you would have to be terrible at motocross games for one of these ruts to actually literally cause you to cross rut and wreck. Like, it's not going to do it. You understand what I'm saying? It just slightly might grab you a little bit more in the corner, but not really. It's still a 90% visual thing and a 10% actually physically feeling like something on the track. It still doesn't really feel like that. So don't let some of those other people try to tell you that it is, because it ain't. I'm sitting here telling you right now it's not. It's still way more of a visual thing than it ever thought about being a physical thing. So just because you're seeing all these ruts visually, don't get these weird-ass, wrong-ass, assumptions on it, because that's not the case. Once you actually get into the game, you're going to be terribly disappointed if you're thinking these ruts are actually like hardcore, or they look like they are. That's the whole like mindfuckery trickery, is they look like they're hardcore ruts, but they're not. They're soft as absolute shit. They're soft. They're just like little sand ruts. They're super soft. Boys, save your money this year. That's the real moral to this whole video. Save your money. I'll be making some more videos on this game, but I don't know how much more I'm going to do on this. This is it's just boring. This is just so boring. This is such a boring game. Like, I don't know. This would have been so much better had they had this physics system and whip system and all that, like with the MXGP Pro tracks. You understand what I'm saying? It would have been so much better. And that's what I'm saying. That's what we could have had they not been this jump the gun, do everything, do 5 games a year. Had they just waited and made 1 game, imagine what that one outdoor MXGP game would have been, right? But no, they've got to make 10,000 games, and then now you get these 5 to 10% improvements, and Milestone always has this issue for whatever reason of like, it's like they'll improve things, but then they make some things worse. They always do that shit. It's never just like everything's better. It's always some things improve, some things get worse than what they were, right? And then the next game's other things improve, and then other things get worse. It's so fucking weird. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, as far as the track design, fun factor, skill gap on track, jump fun factor, it's worse than it has been. Way worse. So either way, definitely let me know down below what you guys think about this shit. I'm not impressed at all. It's pretty much what I thought it was going to be, which was not that much different, not that much amazing. But some things are even worse than what I expected. Like, they really are. So either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.